Hi guys, Tammy here again. Now, before we get started, I wanted to remind everybody that it helps this channel if you share, like, and follow, and of course, comment. Make comments down below. If you have something to add, please feel free to add it. If you have something to correct, also, same thing, but don't forget to be nice. Now, I always recommend that you check and research for yourself. I think that it's a very good idea for people to continue to read and educate themselves. If you want to learn more about Islam, I have some copies and I would be happy to send them your way free of charge. Just DM me and I will send it off, okay? So let's get started. So last week's episode, it was all about how Islam was native. I was trying to show you how Islam is not a foreign thing to Europe. Islam is something that has been there for over 1,000 years. The Umayyad dynasty ended, and after the Ottoman Empire ended, we still continue to have large populations of Muslims in Europe. It's not a foreign thing, it's very common. And many countries that are considered Western countries, they still have about an average of 5 to 10 million Muslims amidst their population among everyday Europeans. Okay, so it's not a new thing. But the point that I'm trying to make is all we hear in the media is that Muslims are migrating and doing illegal things to get to Europe, right? And bring themselves into Europe, and they don't follow the rules and they don't get into the melting pot, and that people in those countries are resentful, and I personally think entitled, forgetful, uneducated. They don't realize all the reasons of why this is happening. But on the other side of that is they also don't realize how many people are actually leaving their countries to go somewhere else. So before you say that, because Europeans and Western-minded people are very proud in talking about their history and their empires and their colonialism and their imperialism. However, it hasn't stopped. But if we see it just purely from an angle of people are migrating to get a better job, to get to improve their lives, to go somewhere where it's cheaper to raise their families, or maybe more conservative to raise their families, it's happening from the Western countries to other countries. Okay, so just to give some numbers here, in Canada, the migration rate, the immigration rate out of Canada is about 50,000 people a year. And in the US, mind-blowing, it's about 10 million a year. In the UK, even pre-COVID, it was 600,000 people were migrating or immigrating or becoming expats in other countries. 600,000 pre-COVID. So it's not a new thing. It's not because of something that's happened during COVID or after COVID. It's been going on for a long time. I would say hundreds of years. In France, the rates are 2.3 million that are leaving France. In Germany, 1.2 million. And in Australia, you know, the country down below, down under, over 600,000 people are leaving Australia and immigrating somewhere else in the world. And of course, these countries are not known for being in war or in civil wars or in famine. So obviously the reason that they're moving is for a better job and a better living, or a cost of living, or maybe a more conservative environment. Before you get on that wagon that says all those people are going only to other Western countries, that's simply not true. So I just did a little bit of research and I have it right here. Expats, because you know, Western people love to use the word expat, not refugee, not migrant, expats. We're gonna have to do another episode of that. In the UAE, there's over 50,000 Americans. There's almost 50,000 Canadians. There's over 120,000 British people. French, over 30,000. German, over 15,000. In Morocco, 41,000 plus. In British Morocco, I'm not really sure, I haven't really looked into what that is, French Morocco and British Morocco. I'm going to assume it means that they have their little enclaves where they have their pubs and their French restaurants, and they go and they buy their baguettes and eat their fish and chips. So French Morocco has 41,000 plus, British Morocco has 25,000 plus people. Now, you know, American television is always talking about how all these migrants are coming from South America or from Mexico, right? Well, apparently, Mexico has over 1.6 million American citizens living there and over 13,000 Canadians. The reason that I bring all of this information up is because I want people to see that it's not just non-white, non-Christian, or secular people that are moving, or non-secular people moving to the Western countries. It is happening the other way around as well, but for different reasons, for sure. The thing about that is that maybe some of the migration or the immigration that's happening from the Western countries out, it could be that the refugee crisis is having an effect on these countries or on these people, and they want to go to another place that is not what they signed up for, okay? However, what I want to point out is, because you hear a lot about why are these people coming to our countries? Why are they not going to other countries that are Muslim countries, whatever that means? So the point that I'm trying to make is you shouldn't be taking it out on the people that are migrating. You shouldn't be taking it out on the people that are refugees. You should be having a talk or a complaint to your member of parliament or to the leadership of your country. That's who you should have the problem with, because these are just numbers. Just Google them. Don't take my word for it. Just look them up yourself. The Iraq War, Sweden was a major and one of the highest contributors to the Iraq War. Denmark, and by the way, Sweden is not part of NATO. Denmark, a NATO country, also supported the invasion of Iraq. The UK was the front runner with the US, holding hands after they did a nice prayer at their church that this was the right thing to do to invade Iraq. Poland invaded Iraq. Italy invaded Iraq. Okay? Where are they finding the money? I don't know, because these countries seem to have plenty of money for war, but they don't have money for the pensions and finding money for their health staff, their teaching staff, their security staff, but they have plenty of money for their wars. The Afghanistan war, Canada, UK, USA, they went there to get a bad guy. They went there to help people, to give them democracy, to give them security. New Zealand, a partner and an ally to NATO. Australia, ally to NATO. France, part of NATO. Spain, Italy, Portugal, Greece, they all helped invade Afghanistan. In Libya, when they went into Libya to free the people from Gaddafi, right? Because things were so bad there, they just had to get him, right? Had nothing to do with other reasons. Denmark, Canada, Norway, Albania, Croatia, Poland, US, UK, France. All of those countries were a part, and more. I mean, the list is so big that it'll be far easier for me to list the countries that didn't participate in that. Did you guys know that the U.S. has 24 military bases in Africa? Did you know that the U.S. has over 750 military bases worldwide and continually expanding? The UK. Did you know that the UK has 5 military bases in Africa? I'm not sure if it has others. I'm sure it does. But in Africa, it has 5 military bases, for security and to help people with their democracy. France has 7 military bases in France. France has 7 military bases in Africa. Could there be a link between the fact that they have so much gold in storage and African countries zero? Comment down below if you know the answer to that. Germany has several. I believe it's about 7. But just for starters, Germany has Mali, Niger, Djibouti, Somalia, and then some. I'm sure there's more. Because these European Western countries have to help the third world, poor countries of the world, to get democracy, to have security. But wow, it's amazing how none of them do. It's amazing how they're still classified as poor. It's amazing how they're still classified as third world, right? In any case, I just find this very interesting, and I hope that other people find it interesting, but also interesting enough to research for yourself and see that things are not what you hear on mainstream media, and you should research for yourself what is really going on. It is very important for people to know what is going on in the world, because when you don't know what is going on in the world, more bad things happen. I mean, look around. Look how many bad things are happening right now. The reason that I do these videos is to bring awareness, and I hope that this helps people become more aware that there are others out there that are doing the same thing as you, and they're doing it maybe for different reasons, but maybe for a far more important reason than yours. So I think that leaving a country because they're afraid for their lives or their loved ones, or they have no food to eat, is trumps the reasons for upgrading your life, or going to or going to a less expensive place to live. I think security and food is a lot more important. But the thing to remember is that as I mentioned before, there are bad things going on, but for good people to stay silent, I believe this was a quote, I'm paraphrasing, from Martin Luther King Jr., that for bad things to happen, good people have to stay silent. So don't be one of those people, okay? I'll see you again on the next episode. Bye.